First of all, let me get a shout out to 93 Sports News for being the first one that I saw do a video about this. Subscribe to his channel, please. 93 Sports News. As he reported, Cleveland Cavaliers power forward Kevin Love will miss at least 6 weeks after undergoing arthroscopic surgery on his left knee yesterday. And by the time he comes back, it's going to be just before the playoffs are beginning to roll around. And this will hurt Cleveland, especially when it comes to their seeding in the East. Right now, Cleveland, I believe, still is the first seed. And this might hurt them a little bit down the stretch. But this is my feelings, right? I don't think it really matters what seed Cleveland is in the East. Okay, I just think that the most important thing is for Kevin Love to be healthy come playoff time. That's what I think is the most important thing. Now, as far as people saying, oh, well, Love's hurt, go make this trade, go make that trade. I don't think there needs to be any big major trades with this team. I think a lot of people who say things like that never really played any organized sport or don't have a knowledge of how long it takes for teammates to become acclimated to one another and chemistry to become great and teammates to gel or whatever, get used to playing one another. You make some big trade now, it doesn't make sense. Kevin Love is having the best season by far that he's had with this organization. He's averaging 20 points, 11 rebounds per game. He finally looks comfortable with this team. I don't think you make any trades with Kevin Love. He's only 28 years old. This Carmelo thing, I think people just want to see dream teams now. They want to see these super teams. Carmelo Anthony is not even the same guy he was 3-4 years ago. And I don't really think he fits this team anyway. Now, I do think that Cleveland could make some smaller trades. I think they need a big guy. I wouldn't be surprised if they might go after a guy like Andrew Bogut, if it's possible. I don't know if it's possible with the contract. You got all these guys, LeBron James, Kevin Love, Kyrie Irving, Tristan Thompson, J.R. Smith. All these guys have relatively large contracts, and there's no money, really no money for anybody right now, all right? They did free up a roster spot. The team let go of Birdman, Chris Anderson. So I do think this team's going to make a move. Now, this team has lost some players from past years. They've lost Timothy Mozgov and Matthew Dellavedova. They've lost some players. But, they could make some key veteran pickups, I think, that could help this team. Maybe a Deron Williams might help this team. I would think at this stage of his career, Deron Williams is in his early 30s. He's probably used now to being a secondary player. He probably just wants to be on a winning club at that particular time. Most players who are veterans feel that way. I think that maybe he would help with his club because they do need another ball handler on this team. But I do think this team needs something of a inside presence, a better inside presence than what they have. Maybe Andrew Bogut would work if he's available. Like I said, with the contract, I know Bogut has said recently that he wants out of Dallas, much to the chagrin of Mark Cuban and company. But I don't know. I think this hurts. Like I said, this injury hurts Cleveland, but I think Cleveland will be just fine. It doesn't matter, in my opinion, whether Cleveland's the first seed or the 7th or 8th seed. They won't drop that low. But if they're the second or perhaps dare say the third seed, I don't think it really matters. Cleveland is just head and shoulders above every team in the Eastern Conference still at this particular time. Although I think these series in the postseason may be a little bit more competitive than they have been in the past. Cleveland may drop some games. I definitely don't think they're going to go off 11-0 like they did last year. I think it was before they lost a playoff game. But the Cavaliers are still the best team. Their competition is in the East, whether it be the Golden State Warriors or the San Antonio Spurs to a lesser extent. That's their competition. That's who they're competing against. And I don't think you get better by trading away Kevin Love. When you finally have the team chemistry with these three guys, their big three, Love, Irving, and LeBron, that's how that goes. I just say that, for a stretch, LeBron James and Kyrie Irving will have to step it up offensively. They're going to have to replace Love's 20 points. Also, I remember listening to Bruce Bliss's video recently about the comparison between Michael Jordan and LeBron James, and he makes a great point. In my opinion, LeBron James is a very underwhelming rebounder, and I've been saying that for quite a long time. For a guy who only averages 7 rebounds per game for his career, that's not very impressive for a 6'8"-ish, 6'9", 260-pound player. It's not. It's not very impressive at all. I think Dominique Wilkins averaged about the same amount of rebounds, and no one would say he was a rebounding behemoth. LeBron James, I hate to say it, man, but LeBron James is going to have to learn how to get a little dirty sometimes, man. I used to get really pissed off when he was playing with the Cavaliers and earlier on with the Heat, when he would be sitting by the sidelines or the three-point line biting his fingernails, watching lesser players get dirty, try to, play aggressive, doing the dirty work down low, trying to get rebounds and offensive rebounds and stuff like that. LeBron James is, to me, if he wants to be even in the conversation of being a top 3 player all time, he has to learn how to do more of the dirty work and not always try to get all the glitz and glamour of, being an NBA star. Bird did it. Magic tried to do it. Okay. Jordan did it. Well, I guess Magic did it too. Okay. Whenever there was a hole to plug, as Michael Jordan would say, he was utility man. I remember when Dennis Rodman was out during that playoff series against Atlanta Hawks back in 1997. Jordan averaged, I think Jordan led all players, or he was a little bit under Mutombo in rebounds per game. I think Michael had a couple of games where he had 17 rebounds. And we're talking about a 34-year-old shooting guard. That's what he had to do. He had to do what he had to do to win. And LeBron James, in my opinion, since he's the best player in the NBA still, if you have Love out, maybe he has to do the things that Kevin Love would be doing. We're going to have to shoot the ball a little bit more. He and Kyrie, maybe Kyrie a little bit more since he's younger. But I think when it comes to rebounding, James is going to have to do some of the dirty work. Okay? That's just my opinion. And if he's not doing it, I'm going to criticize his ass for that shit. Since you say, when a reporter said, are you going to step up in Love's absence, and you said, I've never stepped down, then prove it. Prove it. Prove that you belong in a conversation with Jordan and Abdul-Jabbar and Chamberlain. Prove it.